Let me get everybody seated. We'll start. Y'all ready? Go ahead. The meeting of the Caddo Parish Commission regular session for January 4th, 2024 is called to order. Mr. Clerk.
Commissioner Hopkins.
Here.
Commissioner Johnson.
Present.
Commissioner Jackson. Commissioner Young.
Here.
Commissioner Burrell.
Here.
Commissioner Jones.
Here.
Commissioner Gage-Watts.
Present.
Commissioner Blake.
Here.
Commissioner Atkins.
Here.
Commissioner Chavez.
Here, sir.
Commissioner Lazarus.
Here.
Commissioner Epperson.
Here.
You've got 11 of 12 commissioners present. That does constitute a quorum.
Okay. We have the honor today to have our invocation done by Pastor Joe R. Gant. And our Pledge of Allegiance would be Commissioner Stormy Gage-Watts. Would you please stand?
Will you bow your heads with us? Eternal God our Father, we come now to your presence, confessing our sins, and ask that thou would forgive us of sin, cleanse us from unrighteousness, and give us standing before holy God. We thank you for bringing us into a new year with new opportunities, and I pray as we come together today, your blessings upon this body as it gathers today. Pray that you would bless them individually and collectively. Pray that there may be unity among us, because we cannot walk together except we be agreed. May they disagree but not become disagreeable. Bless them physically, keep them strong, protect their minds from the fiery darts of Satan. Bless our city, bless our parish. Bless us as a community to come together with oneness. In this new year, oh God, that you've given us all of these opportunities, I pray that we will use it as a brotherhood time to be a blessing to others as you've been a blessing to us. Bless Shreveport, bless Caddo. I pray about the crime problem that we're having. I pray that you would touch our administrators, those who are in positions of authority, that we can come together and find healing for our city, even for our parish. In the only name that matters, the name of your Son, Jesus, we pray. Amen.
Amen. Please join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. All military, active and retired, please render the proper salute. And please remember our POWs and MIAs. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you, Pastor Gant and Commissioner Gage-Watts. Mr. Clerk.
Thank you very much. This is, at this point, we are at agenda additions. I'm not aware of any agenda additions today. Unless you have any, Mr. Chairman, and also, if I could remind everybody to point your directional mics towards you and remember to speak into them. We got a comment that it was difficult to hear initially. So, not being any additional agenda additions, we can move to citizens' comments. Where citizens who wish to address the commission on any issue other than zoning are asked to fill out a comment card and submit in this box to my left here, and we will submit those to the president. We have received 2 at this point. Comments are limited to 3 minutes, and if there are additional comments, we will deliver them to the president.
Okay, our first citizen up today is Ms. Megan Chavez.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Welcome.
Hope you guys are doing well.
Just state your name for the record, please.
Megan Chavez. Okay. Commissioner Chavez, excuse me, my love. So today I don't actually stand here as your wife, or just your wife, but your, don't do that, but as your constituent. I actually didn't physically grow up in Southern Hills. I grew up over a couple of streets over in Valley View and Sunset Acres, but Sunset Acres didn't really offer the things that Southern Hills had whenever I was growing up. Like, a lot of the other neighborhoods surrounding. But I did spend most of my childhood and teen years in Southern Hills, the Spar Park. I learned how to swim at the Spar Park. I shopped at the Walmart on Mansfield Road, ate at the restaurants. Even one of my first jobs was at the Plex on Merriweather. So needless to say, Southern Hills was very near and dear to my heart. Over the years, I watched this area decline at a racing pace. Shops closed, restaurants closed, crime increased, home value went down. Mansfield Road was no longer the thriving strip we once paraded. 8 years ago, you complained about it to a little lady, Miss D, and she told you that if you saw something wrong, you needed to do something about it, and you did. And his comment was, what do I do? Do I run around the neighborhood with a gun and fight crime and wear a cape like Batman? She said, no, this seat is available and you should run for it. And wholeheartedly, you did. I have had the joy of watching you breathe life back into Southern Hills. You gave them hope. Working behind the scenes, bringing businesses back, helping create programs at the high school to give students a brighter future with robotics and multiple other things. 5K races, dog parks, zoning, manufacturing plants, fixing streets, many, many calls, many emails, many Facebook messages, and countless pieces of trash. And we all know that you love to pick up trash. But it's the ability to convince other people to love to pick up trash is what really blows me away. It has led us to the neighborhood boys that have changed our lives and have humbled us and showed us the face of God. This isn't about trash. This isn't about just animal services. It's not just about parks or roads or buildings or businesses or even budgets. It's honestly about showing up and keeping your word and your consistency. It's about everyone across the board, no matter what. The betterment of people, the betterment of Shreveport. And you do it with such grace, as you always do with our family and with our boys. And as my husband, there is no lack with you. It is all. There is no all or nothing. It is just all. Your goal is to leave it better than you found it. Your reputation of being able to get stuff done spills over throughout the whole city.
The motion to extend, just a second. Motion
Thank
to
you.
extend for 3 minutes. All in, well, by unanimous vote. Continue.
Okay. Sorry, I really tried to condense that down. Your reputation of being able to get stuff done spills over throughout the whole city, and the district lines have never mattered to you. It's always about the person rather than the imaginary line. I pray that if anything, your servant heart will spark something in many, as it forever has in mine and us in our boys. I know that there is no title needed to make a change, just to show up for people, and you do that. Now, as your wife, I'm so proud of you. These 8 years have been wonderful. I'm so proud of all of you guys for honestly just working together, and I hope that that really shows the city that things can get done, and outside of party lines and politics, at the end of the day, you know that everybody's just a person, and so I'm just honored to be your wife. Our boys are very proud of you, our family, our friends, and I look forward to many years of you helping the community without the title. Thank you.
So now you can really put him to work. The next citizen up is John Glover.
Good evening. John Glover, 9100 Walker Road, apartment 217, Shreveport 71118. Yesterday at your work session, I listened to an exchange between members of this commission with regards to agenda item or ordinance 6413 of 2024. The more I listened, the more disturbed I became about this particular situation. First of all, when it was that the Lighthouse project at the Highlands was included in the original grouping of those emergency sites, it was approved under ARPA. But then learned yesterday, or even during my perusing the agenda, the work session agenda, that such was not. It was declined. So my question to all of you all was, except you, District 8, and you too, District 6, because I didn't have your email addresses, was if that project did not meet the criteria for ARPA, why would the commission choose to use taxpayer dollars? You went from a funding where you had allocated from the green infrastructure, which it was supposed to have been. Now you're going to oil and gas at a rate of $250,000. Now it was said too that there was a precedent that was set because they had done such before, but it should not have been done before, because again, if we have federal dollars, that keeps us with our taxpayer dollars. And when it is that that project that you may bring before us does not meet the guidelines, why are we just so about going on to do what we want to do? It shouldn't be like that. You, to me, owe an explanation why it was and what it was, number one, that caused that project, the Highland, to be disqualified for ARPA dollars. Then what was it that qualified to be used for those oil and gas dollars? See, we need to know what you're doing. And though, yes, we elect you all to serve us, we're not just going to give you that privilege of just serving without us actually having a conversation or even a voice in this matter. So right now, we're faced with an acquisition, one would say, that you're going to be utilizing $250,000 of taxpayers' dollars for a project that was declined. So tell us why and what it is that motivates you to go beyond the decline to use taxpayer dollars when you had those free dollars that could have been used had that been qualified. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. John Glover. I believe that's the last citizen's comment?
Correct.
Okay. All right, Mr. Clerk.
Okay, that brings us to visitors, where we do not have scheduled visitors today. We do have some visitors here that will come up under special resolution section of your meeting, but that will come right after the adoption of regular session minutes, which you have attached.
Well, I won't consider this as necessarily as visitors, but I guess you could call them visitors. But I'm looking out, and I want to recognize our current city marshal, James Jefferson, if you would, stand up. All right, thank you. And our new chief judge of Shreveport City Court, Ms. Shiva Sims. She's somewhere. Welcome to the commission chambers. Mr. Clerk.
Okay, that brings us to adopting regular session minutes, where the regular session minutes from December 7th, 2023 are attached.
Okay, a motion by Commissioner Gage Watts and seconded by Commissioner Ken Epperson. Commissioner Gage Watts.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to move to adopt 7-1 and all of the special resolutions 8-1 through 8-8.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and second to adopt 7.1 and 8.
8-1 through
All of the
8-8.
items under section 8.
Okay, all the items under section 8.
Yes.
Okay. If there are no other questions, we can vote.
All right, and that motion carries with 11 in support, none in opposition, and 1 absent. For the items under special resolutions, I know we have a couple of presentations that are specifically on there for resolutions that were adopted at previous meetings. And I will be happy to read all of them into the record, or at your direction. Just let me know if there is one that I pass over. Would y'all like to take them up in the order that they're on the agenda?
Yes. But
Okay.
But before we do that, I also want to recognize our newly elected commissioner that will take his place in 2024, and that's Commissioner Ron Cawthon. Ron, stand please so they know who you are. Okay, Mr. Clerk.
Okay, let's see, the first item today is the presentation of a special resolution recognizing Donna Curtis upon her retirement. Would you like me to begin by reading the resolution and have a print copy of it for presentation?
That would be fine. Stand please.
Donna, would you like to come up so that we can read this as your honor? Okay, and it reads, this is a special resolution in recognition and appreciation of Donna Curtis. It reads, whereas Donna Curtis has served as the Executive Director of Shreveport Green for an outstanding period of 32 years, dedicating her career to the advancement of our community's environmental and aesthetic well-being. And whereas during her tenure as Executive Director, yes. And whereas during her tenure as Executive Director, Donna Curtis has demonstrated unwavering commitment and exceptional leadership steering Shreveport Green towards a greener, cleaner, and more sustainable future for Caddo Parish, while promoting environmental awareness, implementing transformative educational programs, and initiating numerous enhancement projects aimed at fostering a cleaner and more vibrant community. Whereas among Donna's achievements is the Tree Legacy Program, which has seen the planting of thousands of trees throughout the region, contributing to the beautification and conservation of our natural resources, the establishment of nearly 20 community gardens, the planting of countless wildflower and daffodils, and the organization of thousands of volunteers for annual litter removal events, all of which have left an indelible mark on our landscape. The establishment of a mobile market that has combated food shortages and improved access to fresh, healthy food options within underserved areas, facilitated neighborhood-based and school-based outreach and education programs, furthering the reach of Shreveport Green's mission to create a more sustainable, eco-conscious community, and been instrumental in the proper redirection of hazardous waste and recyclable materials, fostering sustainability and responsible waste management practices within our community. And whereas Curtis's commitment to data-driven decision-making is exemplified through the annual Litter Index surveys that she has conducted, providing valuable insights that have guided the community towards more effective litter prevention and removal strategies. And whereas Donna Curtis's exemplary leadership has garnered national recognition, with Shreveport Green receiving a total of 21 national awards, including 11 First Place Keep America Beautiful National System Awards, the National Tree Trust Branching Out Volunteer Award, the KAB National Youth Group Award for Shreveport, and four Keep Louisiana Beautiful Awards. Now therefore be it resolved that the Caddo Parish Commission does hereby express its profound gratitude and admiration to Donna Curtis for her 32 years of dedicated service as the Executive Director of Shreveport Green. And be it further resolved that the Caddo Parish Commission extends its heartfelt congratulations to Donna Curtis for her remarkable achievements and leadership in advancing environmental stewardship, sustainability, and community engagement in Caddo Parish. And finally, be it resolved that this special resolution be duly executed and presented to Donna Curtis as a token of the highest esteem and appreciation from the Caddo Parish Commission and the citizens of Caddo Parish for her extraordinary contributions to our community.
So can we, you brought some people along with you, did you?
Quite a few. I have the audience.
We're going to put them in the back.
See if another board chair.
If we can be quick, some of your guests, if they would, they
Yes.
come up and take a picture with them.
Come here, John. Mike, Joanne.
Call out who you want.
Is Mike in Ron? I'd like to introduce you all to the staff. Lauren Jones runs the Urban Farm. Her assistant, Shanetta Brown, up on Don. Isabella Brown in Shreveport with Chris Dupree, with Cameron. Cameron Davis is the mobile market. And then the rest of these people, Mike, all of our Shreveport members here.
Mike Middleton is our board chair from many moons ago.
Last century.
Seriously. Joanne Willis also served for 4 years as our and then Don Vigo is our board chair too, from a long time. Get in. So these are very special. 34 years is a long time. To really conceive, and the parish commission was part of it from the very beginning.
Donna, if you would,
Want me
if
to
you
talk
speak
to
in the
y'all?
mic, or we're going to record this.
Okay, thank you all so much. This is quite an honor, and I'm so proud of the opportunity and happy for the opportunity to express my thanks, my gratitude to the Caddo Parish Commission. For 34 years, which is the length of Shreveport Green, you have been our partner, and it has been total delight. We've come to you with problems, seeking funding, seeking assistance, and you've been right there. I don't know if Patrick is here today from SPAR. Patrick, there you are, Patrick. Thank you. He has been a joy to work with the last 4 years as he helps us with our Shreveport program and the program we work with the parish on that. Cleanups, it's never been a problem. I can look around at everyone here has been a part of our program at some time. Linden, board member. Mario, thank you for everything. We worked hand in hand the whole time. Ken, first in service. Seriously, that was the first committee, the first neighborhood group I talked to was Ken's. Thank you so much, John, for your assistance there. Stefan, so proud to be working with you, and thank you. Todd, thank you for that. Stephen, I've worked with on a lot of stuff. Roy, from telephone books to everything. Roy has been there too. Stormy, thank you for all of your assistance. So it's been wonderful, and I appreciate it. Ed, it's not over yet. I'm going to get to work with you at some point too. But the parish has been a huge support. We still have a great group going. You totally support our Shreveport members here. We have 5 here today with us, and they're out there doing good, spreading the word, and we are very proud to be a part and to serve you. Thank you very much. It's been a wonderful 34 years. It's time.
Donna, if you would come back, we have some comments from the Horseshoe. Comments from commissioners. Commissioner Ken Epperson.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Donna, if you look on our agenda today under 8.1, you see all 11 commissioners listed as sponsors, but you won't see my name. Not because it's slight, but it's because we started it. 1992, when I was down here on the commission, we had one of the largest neighborhood cleanups in the history of Shreveport and Caddo Parish in the Cedar Grove area. I have a news article and photos of you and I on the back of a trash truck driving down Fairfield Avenue and West 85th. We picked up 35 tons of trash that particular day. So I just want to let you know how much I appreciate you. I think your first expenditure from the commission was, I believe, about $10,000 or maybe less. And that's got us going, and we're so proud of what we have accomplished together. But there's still a lot of work to be done, and I'm pretty sure that you're leaving someone that is amply capable of leading us into a better and a brighter future. And I wish you all the success and get plenty of rest. Thank you.
Ken. It will be.
Okay, Commissioner Young.
Thank you, Mr. President. Donna, we're so proud of you. I'm proud to represent you now that our district lines have moved a little bit, and I'm proud of all the work we've been able to do together. And I would just like to say, for the record, on behalf of all the people of Caddo Parish, thank you for your decades of service. You're one of the most active citizens in our region, and maybe not the most appreciated or the most famous, but you have been in the newspaper probably more times than anyone can count, and on TV more times than anyone can count, for making this a more beautiful place. And we all thank you, and we wish you a happy retirement. And we all wonder how anyone can fill your shoes. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Okay. I too, Donna, would like to say congratulations. Thought this day would never come. I think the last time we talked, I said, when are you going to retire? And I've known you over 20 years, and I think one of my most memorable times was when we won the All-American City for the first time. And you were very much a part of that, which gave Shreveport national recognition. So again, I appreciate all that you do, and hopefully you're leaving it in good hands.
If I can say something about
Sure.
that, Roy, my best memory of you is at one of our citywide cleanups, you pulling up in a Greyhound bus full of volunteers, opened up the bottom of the bus, and nothing but spare tires rolled out. Must have been 200 tires that your group in Queensboro had collected on a Saturday on a all-city cleanup. I mean, it must have been 100 and something. It was unbelievable. I just remember opening that and all these tires that found a tire dump, which continues to be a problem. We've got to get rid of the tire dump. We've got to get that under control. Thank you.
Well, hopefully we'll continue that work. Thanks again.
Thank you so much.
At this time, I'd like to recognize someone else who is here as a newly elected commissioner for 2024, and that's Mr. Commissioner Greg Young. If you would, stand up, Greg. I think Greg is representing the area that Commissioner Johnson is replacing him up in the Cooper Road general area up in that area. Okay, Mr. Clerk.
All right, that brings us now to a special, the presentation of a special resolution honoring Judge Pamela Tier.
Okay.
All right, if we are ready, I will begin to read this special resolution. And it reads, a resolution of recognition to Judge Pamela Latier, whereas the Caddo Parish Commission recognizes and honors individuals who have made significant contributions to the legal profession and the community at large. Whereas Judge Pamela Latier has exemplified a remarkable commitment to justice, fairness, and equality throughout her distinguished career. And whereas Judge Pamela Latier holds the historic distinction of being the first female and the first African American to serve as the Chief Judge of the Shreveport City Court, breaking barriers and paving the way for future generations. And whereas her tenure as Chief Judge has been characterized by unwavering dedication to upholding the principle of the judicial system and ensuring access to justice for all citizens. And whereas Judge Pamela Latier's leadership, wisdom, and compassion have left an indelible mark on the legal community, fostering a sense of inclusivity and fairness. Whereas as she embarks on a well-deserved journey of retirement, the Caddo Parish Commission wishes to express its deepest gratitude for Judge Pamela Latier's outstanding service, acknowledging the impact she has made on the legal profession and the broader community. Now therefore be it resolved by the Caddo Parish Commission in a special meeting assembled that we extend our heartfelt appreciation to Judge Pamela Latier for her trailblazing career, her dedication to justice, and her role as a role model for aspiring legal professionals. And be it further resolved that this resolution be appropriately documented and presented to Judge Pamela Latier as a token of our sincere admiration and gratitude for her remarkable contributions to the Shreveport City Court and the entire Caddo Parish community.
Okay, I would like my sister to come up. Judge, Chief Judge, Shiva Sims, come on up, Shiva. Come on up. Is Marshall still coming? I can say a few words.
Yeah,
I want to
sure.
thank you. I want to thank the commission collectively, and I want to especially thank Commissioners Gage Watts, Commissioners Johnson, and Stephen Jackson, who's come in. Thank you. This is just like an icing on the cake for me. I wanted to be a judge since I was in the 2nd grade. And God honored that throughout elementary school, middle school, high school, college, law school, practice, and now 15 years on the court. I had a great staff to work with, and I know that I'm leaving the court in capable hands, as Chief Judge Shiva Sims was sworn in yesterday as the Chief Judge of Shreveport City Court. Thank you to the citizens of Shreveport for allowing me to serve. I was elected in 2008, and I was re-elected twice without opposition. And as you all know, as elected officials, the work that we do isn't always easy. It's very challenging at times, but it's very rewarding. And I have enjoyed my time at Shreveport City Court. I've enjoyed all of the opportunities that I've had to improve the quality of the employees, the work that they do, the pay that they receive, and to implement some programs that I hope will continue long after I'm gone. Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for this resolution. Thank you.
Commissioner Gage Watts.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. President. Judge Latier, congratulations.
Thank you.
God does all things well.
Yes.
We were together yesterday celebrating our newly appointed Chief Judge, Shiva Sims, and today we are getting the opportunity to congratulate you on all of your accomplishments. We thank you so much for your dedication. I thank you for being you always.
Thank you.
Your humbleness and your grace is so amazing. I hope that we will get to have you still here in Caddo Parish, and that we'll continue to work on projects together. But congratulations and happy retirement.
Thank you. Thank you.
Judge Latier, I too, seemed like it was only yesterday when I attended your inauguration. And it looked like today you're still just as young
Oh, well,
pretty
thank
as you
you.
were then. So if retirement does that, maybe some other people might want to retire. But again, thank you for all that you've done. As you know, I was in city government for a while before I went to the state, and I believe I was a state legislator when I came back to your swearing in. So you've been there, and you've been steadfast, and you've done a wonderful job. So again, thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner Burrell.
Commissioner Epperson.
Judge Latier, I too would like to commend you on your tenure of your service that you provided at the Shreveport City Court. Most of the time, I do not endorse anyone. When their newly elected officials come up and ask me for an endorsement, I say, the thing about this here now, you and the people are voting for you and not me. Oftentimes, when they ask for an endorsement, it depends on those individuals. However, I remember that I did endorse you, and it looked like it came out good. You got elected the first time, and the other two you was unopposed. So I'm proud of you, and I wish you a good and a happy retirement. Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Jackson.
Thank you, Mr. President. Judge Sims, thank you for the poise and grace that you bring to the job and just every day. I don't know if you're retiring just because you want to go do something else. I don't believe you're retiring because you've hit the 70 mark. That looked like that at all. But we never got a chance to publicly thank City Court for the role you all played during the pandemic in helping us facilitate a very difficult task in trying to keep people in their homes. A lot of folks were being put out of their homes, evictions and things of that nature, and that was a very difficult situation. But one of the things that Caddo Parish and Shreveport stood out for was being able to work together with our court system, our justice of the peace, to keep folks as best as we could housed. And that was a testament to the leadership that you stepped up. I think y'all even called over and said, what do we have to keep people in their homes? And so a lot of people were not doing that across this country. And so that speaks to the heart that you all have and the leadership that you demonstrated over at City Court. I agree with Commissioner Gates-Watts. I hope we can keep you around. There's a lot to be done. A lot of folks who go off and retire, they get more active. So hopefully we'll see you more in some of these events. I don't know, but it's been a pleasure working with you. And I wish you much success in retirement and travel and doing whatever it is you want to do. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Commissioner
Thank
Jackson. Excuse me. I just wanted to say one other thing. I was made Chief Judge during the pandemic, and it was a challenge. It was a new role, and there were new responsibilities, things that we had never reached before. And I thank God for all of the judges on my court who we pulled together, we worked together, and we got the job done. We were able to keep a lot of people in their homes during the pandemic, and I'll be forever grateful for the work that you all have done for that and for the other judges on my court.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Ed Lazarus. Are you on?
He was. I didn't push the button on purpose.
Okay. Commissioner Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. President. Former Chief Judge, Ms. Pam Latier. I want to say that you had a very illustrious career, and I'm just glad that I was never a client of yours, and I never had to come for you in the courtroom. But all the things that I've heard of people who did go into the courtroom under your leadership, I never heard any bad messages or words that came out of that. And sometimes as an elected official, you won't get that. I mean, I know sitting up here, all of us have never gotten 100% approval rating on the street and in circles. And it just has been a blessing to know you and to get to learn how you operate and do things. And enjoy retirement. And I too hope that you stay in Caddo Parish and don't move too far off. But because there's other people that can learn a lot from you. There's a lot of teenagers, 20-year-olds that you can mentor and get them to the same level. So congratulations.
Thank you, Commissioner Johnson.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Thank you all.
Okay, Mr. Clerk.
Okay, at this point, I believe we have a presentation of a special resolution to Dr. Joe Gant.
All right.
And as Dr. Gant makes his way up, I will begin to read this special resolution of recognition. And it reads, to Reverend Dr. Joe Gant, Jr., whereas the Caddo Parish Commission acknowledges and celebrates the remarkable achievements and dedication of Reverend Dr. Joe Gant, Jr., who has served as the senior pastor at Calvary Missionary Baptist Church for an astounding 50 years. And whereas the esteemed pastor has been a steadfast beacon of leadership, compassion, and community service, whose commitment to spreading the gospel has extended far beyond the walls of Calvary Missionary Baptist Church and taken many forms, from successful marches to reclaim neighborhoods, from the influence of drugs in the late 80s, to service as a chaplain assistant to in the United States Army, to his participation in international ministries. And whereas for over 42 years, Reverend Gant has hosted a citywide prayer vigil at Calvary Missionary Baptist Church, fostering unity and a spiritual reflection among citizens and providing dedicated prayer for educators, elected officials, law enforcement officials, and the nation. And whereas Reverend Gant's extensive service to education and civic life is exemplified by his 20 years on the Board of Supervisors for the Southern University and Agricultural and Mechanical College system and 12 years as a member of the Shreveport Airport Authority. And whereas Reverend Gant's creativity, determination, perseverance, and extraordinary courage in advancing fundamental rights were recognized with the 2017 Louisiana Association of Educators Human and Civil Rights Trailblazer Award. And whereas Dr. Gant's personal achievements, including being the first in his family to earn a college degree, obtaining a Bachelor of Arts degree from Louisiana State University in Shreveport, and a Doctor of Ministry degree from Louisiana Baptist University and Seminary, reflect his commitment to education and personal growth. And now therefore be it resolved by the Caddo Parish Commission that it does hereby heartily congratulate and commend Reverend Dr. Joe R. Gant Jr. for his 50 years anniversary at Calvary Missionary Baptist Church, and be it further resolved that this commission does extend its gratitude for Reverend Dr. Gant's many indelible contributions to Caddo Parish, and extends our wishes of continued blessings upon his efforts as he continues his service to his congregation, community, and his Creator.
Members of this commission, let me say thank you, but I wanted to bring my wife, 23rd of next month, 50 years. And no one has sacrificed more than she has. I'm a servant of the Lord, preaching 60 years, pastoring my home church, and anybody know you pastor your own people. 50 years. The Lord has shown me that I have much more work to do. I'm going to be calling upon this august body because several things bother me in our city. The biggest thing that bothers me is disunity. Shreveport would never get to where we need to be until we learn how to come together, to disagree, and not become disagreeable with one another. What happens in southeast Shreveport affects where I live in southwest Shreveport. As a pastor in this community for 50 years, I want to applaud you for what you've been doing to bring jobs. My daughter just graduated in December from Southern University in Baton Rouge. Do you think she's coming back to Shreveport? Probably not. Not that she doesn't want to come, but we've got to have something to attract our young people back. We've got to create jobs, and one thing that I'm saying to us, and I thank you for this platform to say it, we've got to get rid of some of the red tape, because too many of our jobs are going across the river because we are not pro-business as we should be. So I'm saying to you, and I'm not speaking to no one individual, I'm talking about us holistically. I think we've got to realize who we are and where we are. And if Shreveport is going to be a great city, it's going to take all of us working together and realize you're not going to have your way all the time. I'm not going to have my way all the time. But there ought to be a middle ground that we can meet when we're all working together for the good of everyone. And let me say thank you to Judge Latia. I thank God that I have a little piece to do with her when she first came here. And certainly I want to congratulate you on your retirement. I don't know when I'm going to retire. I'm like an old soldier. I'm going to just fade away. Thank you so much. Pastor Gant, if you have some comments here from the dais. Commissioner Epperson.
Yes, sir. Pastor Gant, I'm proud to say that you and I are alumni of the mighty Union High Eagles.
Tell it.
Currently, Caddo Korean Technology Center now. And I'm very proud of what you have done and what not only myself and many others that are alumni of Union High School has done to make not only Caddo Parish, city of Shreveport, the state of Louisiana, but the nation a better place. So we just wanted to commend you on what you've been doing all of these years, and I attribute that to our basic foundation as a Union High School Eagle. So thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Stephon Jones.
Thank you, Mr. President. Dr. Gant, definitely wanted to be able to share this moment with you. When my pastor, Dr. Tim Jones, came to PCRS in '94, I was about 9 years old, and we had never with any of my previous pastors' fellowship with Calvary. And so when I first came over to Calvary, I remember telling my mom, "Mom, that man is a giant," because as a kid, just looked so tall. And standing next to you today, I didn't feel as tall as I am. But I didn't realize what I was saying at 9 years old. I was speaking of your physical sense. But as I grew older, and now that I'm pastoring my first church, and just realizing all that you've invested in so many young people in our area over the years, you are certainly a giant. And so I wanted to make sure that we gave you your flowers while you can yet smell them, and not let this opportunity pass us by. 50 years is nothing to take lightly for steady leadership and influence in our city. And so every year it mentions in the proclamation that he hosts a 40-hour prayer vigil, and there's an hour set aside for elected officials, and everybody's invited. It's not closed to anyone, Democrat, Republican, white, black, doesn't matter. He invites us all into the sanctuary to pray together, to worship together, and have that opportunity, not for us to just pray together. He covers us in prayer. And we were there this past Saturday, some of us made it, and just to see the passion in your heart for your city, for your parish, and for elected officials made me feel good, because a lot of faith leaders have become disconnected from public service. And what I mean by that, I remember a time growing up where pastors and preachers were heavily involved in what happened in their communities. It concerned them. They didn't turn a blind eye to it, and it seems like we're moving into an era where there are some leaders who are more concerned about their platform and their portfolio than they are about the people that they serve. And I've never seen you sway from that. And I'm 38, so I've known you for a little while now, about 29 years. I've been familiar with you, and I've seen you be consistent. And so I want to thank you for that, sir. And then I pray that throughout my ministry that I can be just a portion of the anointing that God has placed on your life, that he'll place it on mine. So thank you for all you've done, and God bless you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Gage Watts.
Thank you, Mr. President. Dr. Gant, thank you so much, as Commissioner Jones mentioned, for being the giant staple in our community. It is not unnoticed. I appreciate your comments today to challenge us to do better, because our citizens deserve a unified board. I thank you so much for praying for us. That is a priority in all of our lives, at least it should be, because we wouldn't dare do this without God on our side. So I just wanted to say congratulations. I don't know how you've been doing it for 60 years, but to God be the glory for the things that he has done.
That's it.
And to be our pastor for 50 years is commendable in itself. So I continue to pray for you, continue to lift you up, because I know that it is definitely not an easy job, but I know that the rewards are worth it.
Thank you.
God bless you. Thank you.
Okay. Dr. Gant, last but not least,
All right.
I want to thank you for all your guidance and support over the years, too. I remember coming to you, I was concerned about running for political office and not being from Shreveport, because people seem to be a bit clannish. And you said, son, I don't know why you said son, but we're almost the same age. You said, son, don't worry about that. You just represent the people. And I remember that, and I've taken that all the way in 25 years now I've been serving. So again, I appreciate all that you do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Clerk.
All right, that brings us now. The next few, I believe, have either already been determined to be presented at a later date or have been presented at separate functions. So the recognition for Calvary Baptist, the resolution for Judge Steve Sims, the remembrance for Corey Davis, and the special resolution for Andrea Mona Bowman. We won't read those into the record right now unless there is a request, because they'll all be presented or have been presented at another time. And that brings us then to the adoption of a special resolution recognizing the contributions of the outgoing commissioners. So if y'all would the outgoing commissioners like to come up to the front and Or how would y'all like to do that?
Come on up to the front.
Okay. This is a proclamation for years of service to the Caddo Parish Commissioners. And it reads, whereas the Caddo Parish Commission is always pleased to acknowledge and honor those citizens of the parish who, by their ongoing demonstrations of selfless service to their fellow man, set superlative examples of good citizenship and community involvement. And whereas such individuals are Mr. Todd Hopkins, Mr. Lyndon B. Johnson, Mr. Stephen Jackson, and Mr. Mario Chavez, who have all served as Caddo Parish Commissioners. And whereas Mr. Todd Hopkins was elected to serve Caddo Parish Commission District 1 in 2020 after retiring from his position as the Caddo Parish Commission Clerk and serving as Director of Caddo Fleet Services. Mr. Hopkins continued to serve the constituents of District 1 until January of 2024. And whereas Mr. Lyndon B. Johnson was appointed to serve the Commission District 2 seat in 2010, left by the resignation of former Commissioner Rose McCullough, Mr. Johnson served as the Caddo Parish Commission President during 2015 and 2021. He continued to serve the constituents of District 2 until January of 2024. And whereas Mr. Stephen Jackson was elected to serve the Caddo Parish Commission District 3 in 2016, he served as the Caddo Parish Commission President in 2017 and continued to serve the constituents of District 3 until January of 2024. And whereas Mr. Mario Chavez was elected to serve Caddo Parish Commission District 10 in 2016. He served as the Caddo Parish Commission President during the pandemic in 2020. He continued to serve the constituents of District 10 until January of 2024. And now therefore be it resolved by the Caddo Parish Commission that it does hereby express its deep and sincere appreciation to Mr. Todd Hopkins, Mr. Lyndon B. Johnson, Mr. Stephen Jackson, and Mr. Mario Chavez for their invaluable contributions rendered on behalf of their services to the citizens of Caddo Parish. I think you got one more in the back. One more in the back.
I want to start off to thank God for allowing me this opportunity to do this service in my life. I would also like to thank the constituents of District 2 who voted for me to serve 3 terms. I want to thank my sisters for the support that they watch every meeting that we have, work sessions and the regular sessions. They're watching right now. I want to thank my kids, my children, for understanding that Daddy was a public servant and that I couldn't be in 2 places at one time. And finally, my many supporters. 13 years ago, I sat at the Horseshoe for the first time, and I had 2 women that gave me aspirations to do great things. The late Joyce Bowman and Stephanie Lynch. Both ladies had their way of doing things, but they had a common denominator between the 2, and that was never come to a commission meeting unprepared and do your research on the topic so that you can elaborate on the topic in your own perspective. It was the late Carl Pearson and Ken Epperson Sr. that said that you can't learn this sitting here in Caddo Parish and come to meetings, that you had to get out and go to conferences and meetings to be able to network for ideas and come up with political strategies. It was Lindora Baker that gave me the inspiration to get involved with NACO and the subcommittees. It was commissioners like John Escaday, John Atkins, David Cox, and Mario Chavez that made me work on my debating skills and also to work on that most important 7th vote. And finally has been Commissioner Stephon Jones and Stormy Gage Watts that have given me the opportunity to give back the knowledge that I learned to the next generation. Some of the highlights include saving the Jerome Mose facility that was targeted for demolition, Right now, it has a couple of companies in there, which people are making money, and so that was a good save. The removal of the Confederate statue from the parish courthouse. There's been mixed emotions about that, but that's the only courthouse that had a statue in front of it that wasn't pleasing to everyone. Over $1.5 million allocated to Southern University for needed programs. The nursing program is one that has taken off, and the aerospace program. Northport Development. If you're not familiar with that, that's up Highway 1 before you get to Northwood. And it has a Walmart, AutoZone, Taco Bell, Quick Care, Sonic, Red River Credit Union, Spring Market, Tire Crew, Wendy's, O'Reilly's Auto Parts, Trejo's Mexican, Zaxby's, Barksdale Federal Credit Union, Citizen Bank and Trust, just to name a few, that has been added in the last 13 years. There has been many residential developments in North Shreveport Parish, and in the past 13 years, that has brought in additional tax revenue to the parish. Approved over $10 million in road repairs in the unincorporated areas of District 2. Chaired the Appropriation Committee allocating funds annually to nonprofit organizations averaging over $750,000 a year. Created the Caddo Parish Summer Student Employment Program and Natural Disaster Fund. When I got here, we wasn't hiring summer students. And so I was like, why are we not hiring summer students? Let's get some in. So the initial budget was small because our administration was like, well, let's try this out first, because we stopped it for a reason. I say, let's start it small, but we'll gradually grow it up. And we did. The Natural Disaster Fund came in 2015 when we had the flooding. I call it the I-30 flooding, when all the water came from Oklahoma and Texas down to the Louisiana area. And I was president, and a lot of senior citizens' homes were flooded, and they had no means to getting those houses fixed. So that disaster fund was a means to get those done. I have kept my original and only promise of no new taxes, helping our veterans and helping our senior citizens. I want to thank the employees of the parish for their support. Especially want to thank Dr. Woodrow Wilson, Dr. Erica Bryant, which is now our new administrator. She probably go get that doctorate degree sooner or later. And all the directors that I called when I needed some help. As I move to my next chapter in life, it brings a new passion, which is watching my son play high school football and basketball. New goals and dreams, and a new love. I can honestly say that I will leave District 2 in a better shape than when I came.
Well, 34 years ago yesterday, I walked into the Caddo Parish Commission as an employee. And today I walk out as a former employee, but now a former commissioner. And I'm really proud of the time served here. I've served with a lot of good people, whether it be the commission clerk or the director of fleet service, but there have been some great commissioners. The staff has been unbelievable. The good thing, when I walk out the door, there'll be somebody in to walk right in the door, and things will never change. And it won't change because that staff will continue to make sure things run properly and run right. I'm proud of the last 4 years. We were able to do a lot of things in District 1. Todd didn't do them. This body did them. So I had to fight a few times. Lyndon and I think we stay on each other more than anybody. But, you know, we disagreed. We agreed to disagree on things, and without ever getting mad. And I've got a smile. Woke up like a ton of bricks off my shoulders this morning. You see me from now on, you'll probably see me in camouflage, because I'm going to be hunting or fishing or gardening one. Thank y'all once again.
Guess we're going to save the shortest for last.
You say short?
Save the shortest one. The shortest one for last. I want to say thank you to the citizens of District 3. I came to this position very ambitious, very optimistic, and I was fast forward 8 years, I'm still just as ambitious and optimistic as I was 8 years ago. I think government is a place where people look to for help. People look to for an opportunity to make life a little bit better for them. When I started this, I had my mother with me, and we all know that in 2018, while we were out dealing with floods, I left to go deal with some constituents, and when I got back, she had gone into a coma, never came out. And it was the love and inspiration that members and staff showed during that time that I want people to understand that what you see here, when you see votes and you see debates, it's not necessarily folks getting into it and things of that nature, not all the time, but we agree to disagree. But when individuals need the support, the love, and respect, it is there. The cameras don't always catch it, but it is there. I can text John Atkins at 11:30 at night and worry the hell out of him about trying to get one vote, or I could text the whole entire group text at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, just posing a question or just getting something off my mind before I can go to sleep. We can get together and have conversations about the Dallas Cowboys. I think you're the only outlier in the group. But it's not what you see up here. I can text to Erica Brown or Woody Wilson at 6 o'clock in the morning asking them how much did summer workers make, or on a Christmas Eve or New Year's Eve, just asking random questions, and everybody responds. And so that's one of the things that I want folks to understand about government is what you often see on TV is just a tiny fraction of what we actually do and who we actually are. There's a complete picture and there's a complete story that has to be told. And I'm thankful for every moment for being here. It has made me more mature. It has made me grow up a lot. It has made me more optimistic about who we are as Caddo Parish. I listened to Pastor Gant talk about his daughter not wanting to come back. There are a lot of folks that have that position and have that thought process. And those are the people who we have to wake up to try to figure out how do we, one, attract the folks who have left, and how do we keep the ones who are here. We must always remember, particularly the 12 that sit up here, there are 200,000 residents in Caddo Parish. Only 12 get to come down here and do this job. Only 12 of the 200,000. This is all of Caddo Parish represented by 12 people. Bishop T.D. Jakes preached a sermon a couple of weeks ago that talked about strengthening your shoulders when you feel weak. And his prayer was that God gave him the strength to strengthen his shoulders, make his shoulders stronger when he gets weak. And my prayer for Caddo Parish and my prayer for the state of Louisiana, my prayer for the city of Shreveport is when we feel at our weakest points, our prayer is that we get stronger, because people are dependent on us. People have an expectation that when we knock on their door and we ask for their support and we say we're going to do something, we at least try. We may not succeed on every case, but as I always tell you, Ed, I gotta try. May not succeed, but I gotta try. And that's what this is about. I can promise you that Erica Bryant doesn't have a vault in her office where Ken Epperson and Stephen Jackson and Todd Hopkins get together on the third Thursday of every month and we go raiding and put money in our back pockets. That just doesn't happen. We have some of the strongest safeguards here. We have some of the strongest mechanisms in place. Henry and Donna, I know y'all think I may have issues with y'all, but I appreciate it because it makes the system, it protects the process. And there's never been a time where I've hung up from anybody or walked away from anybody with any personal animus. We say what we have to say, but then we figure out how do we make it better. I want to say to Administrator Bryant, thank you. I think y'all figured out somewhere internally who could maneuver me. And I think y'all figured out that she was the one to just come and, but what she does is she has a very approachable tone to say, well, Commissioner, I'm not going to say no, but how about this? Or can we do this? And that is what our constituents have an expectation of. And so whatever it is that Caddo Parish decides it's going to do over the next 4 to 12 years, I want you to know that we have to do it with an intent of making Caddo Parish better for the least of these. I'm going to be all right. Stephon Jones is going to be all right. But we have to make sure that we're looking out for the least of these. I want to thank everybody up here on this body, from District 1 to District 8 to District 12, I'm sorry, District 1 to District 12. I want to thank everybody up here because everybody has played a role in my maturity. It's not easy being a millennial growing up in politics under the spotlight. Amen. It is not easy. And so I just want folks to understand that everybody up here has played a role in my maturity, in my progression, personally and professionally. It has made a difference to me, and so I want to say my gratitude is to you. If there's anything that I can do in this next chapter of my life to help, you have a friend and you have an advocate for Caddo Parish to do it. Thank you.
It's going to be hard to follow that one, but I'll be short. As Mr. Jackson said, it's been wonderful working with y'all. I have a quick prepared speech, but I just, this speech that I wrote out, I was asked for a closing statement, but just while I'm in front of my colleagues, it's been an absolute pleasure working with all you, working with the different personalities. As Commissioner Jackson said, it's been fun, it's been challenging, it's been honorable, working with Commissioner Watts and her love for Jesus, and that just spread out to everybody, and it's just been great. And Commissioner Atkins and his love for the balanced budget and how he's led us financially, it's been great. Each one of you holds a special place in my heart. It's been an amazing 8 years, so I didn't want to leave here without telling each one of you. I just didn't want to take the time to spend 5 minutes on each person and thus prolong this for an hour. So after 8 years and 2 terms elected to serve on the Caddo Parish Commission, I'm humbled thinking back over the many years of all the many friendships I have made. Serving the people of Caddo Parish has been an amazing honor. People have asked as I am coming to close out of my term, what are some of the biggest accomplishments or memories that you will take with you? And as I sit and reminisce over my time, the events that come to mind are not exactly newsworthy. What were more memorable were all the times I sat with complete strangers in their living rooms, understanding issues that they had and had nowhere else to turn. The time I met a mom at 5 a.m. at the military entrance processing station to see her son off to the Navy. And the many times I got to sit down with the kids at school, read them books, and hear their dreams. I know most people focus on the highlights. However, it is the little things that really made this office worthwhile. I recall serving as the parish president during 2020 and the amazing challenges we faced as an entire world shut down due to COVID. That same year, we faced Louisiana hurricanes in August and October, as well as an incredibly challenging winter. As I think back over Southern Hills and our progress in the last 8 years, I am thrilled to see the amazing growth we have experienced on Mansfield Road corridor and the surrounding areas. It also saddens me to know that our late great Councilman James Fleury and City Marshal Charlie Caldwell are not able to see the progress that they are responsible for producing. From breaking ground at our very own dog park, a world-class fire station, and now in the works, our first regional Ronald McDonald House, Southern Hills is only poised to continue growing. A deciding factor for me to run for public office was the decline of our neighborhood due to General Motors plant closure in 2012. As the son of an auto worker, I saw firsthand the hardships many families faced as great high-paying jobs disappeared and forced families to move to Michigan and Texas. I can proudly say that now, 11 years later, that very plant is undergoing an $18 million upgrade and will hire 600 new direct jobs with an annual payroll of more than $50 million. LBJ, that's a testament to y'all, so thank you for that. Additionally, 750 new indirect jobs to total over 1,350 new jobs across our region, backfilling our empty Southern Hills homes and exploding our local economy. LaToya, I know that's happy news for you. In closing, I must thank the amazing citizens of Southern Hills that elected me twice to represent them, my incredible rock and wife, Megan Chavez, my family, my parents that are sitting here, my kids, as they had to serve with me thousands and deal with my crazy 24-hour on-call schedule. As I hand the torch off to Commissioner-elect Ron Cawthorn, thank you, Ron, for being here. I know between Councilman Jackson and Commissioner Cawthorn, our neighborhood is in great hands. Thank you, everybody.
Gentlemen, before you leave, there's some comments from the dais as usual. Commissioner Stephon Jones.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just want to say all four of you have been very instrumental in me adjusting to public service in your own way. You all have been mentors. Todd and I found an immediate connection through Blanchard and Northwood. Been knowing Stephen knee high to tree high, you know, our entire lives. Commissioner Johnson actually was a mentor of mine way back when Omega Psi Phi was having talent shows. He probably doesn't even remember me coming to the talent show, but they were having talent shows at Southern, and he and Fred Moss and Dr. Willie McPherson, Ken Thomas took me under their wing, and it was cool for it to come full circle for us to be able to work together again. And I remember going to my first conference and was absolutely lost, just like I don't know what to do. And Commissioner Johnson said, "Hey, this is how it works. This is how you get to meet people. This is how you network, and it'll make you a better commissioner." And Commissioner Chavez, he and I share our love for Christ and our love for the lack of litter in our parish. We love to make sure that trash is getting picked up and our areas are clean. And so I just want to say to each of you, thank you for, you didn't have to do that. Politics can be a very fickle system and game if people don't govern with the heart that we're called to do so. And one thing I can say about you gentlemen is that you all have not allowed the system to take you away from your morals and values and who you have been called to be as men of God and men of the people. And so I want to thank you for being fair enough to share your information, to share your knowledge, and to make sure that a new person like me is able to do a decent job. And so you weren't selfish, and I think that's to be commended. And I'm praying for each and every one of you as you move forward in your chapters, and I pray that we can continue to stay in touch, continue to work together. Thank you.
Commissioner Atkins.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just wanted to recognize each of you all and thank you for what you taught me over the last 4 to 8 years, depending on each of you. I learned different things from different people. In the case of Commissioner Jackson, I learned defense against his offense. Thank you for that, Stephen. And for Commissioner Hopkins, I've just, as a clerk and as a colleague, I could always go to you to learn the historical aspects of things and the true parliamentary issues and all those nuts and bolts that come from your years of service to the commission. So thank you for that. For Commissioner Chavez, I learned a love of service and a heart, and I appreciate all that you do to help soften a guy who sometimes is too numbers oriented. So thank you. And for LBJ, you have a great wisdom for the political process and the political body. You've always done your homework. You've always had strong convictions, but you also respect other people's convictions. And we could come together on the same issue and not necessarily agree, but never be disagreeable. So thank you for your service. I've enjoyed working with each of you, and I wish you all best of luck, and I hope we can all stay in touch in the years ahead. Thank you, Mr. President.
Commissioner Epperson. Commissioner Jackson, appreciate your tenacity and persistence. Commissioner Hopkins, your staunch and unwavering political philosophy. Commissioner Chavez, I don't know if you recall one night on the parking lot, I mentioned something to you about, and I see that you did make that change, so you can tell the people about what that is. And Commissioner Johnson, for your analytical and number crunching skills. Even though I've been down here a number of years, I've learned something from each and every one of you, and I have spreaded that throughout the community. I may not have said it to you, but a lot of more people know about it. Congratulations and thank you.
Commissioner Gage Watts.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. President. I'm not going to even be that deep today because I don't want to make anyone cry. But I just want to say thank you. Each one of you know that you have poured something into me, and some of you pulled something out of me. It is definitely a pleasure to call most of you my friends, and that I am so glad for the service that you have provided to make our parish go from great to greater. I wish you nothing but the best, and I'm praying that God will bless and keep you on your next phase in life. Thank you.
Last but not least, again, I want to thank you gentlemen for all your work over the years. And also as a member, it's a lot different than being the president, I found out. As a member, you don't have to deal with some issues, but as president, you deal with them all. And dealing with you guys is like herding cats. You go in different directions, but you always come back to the center to try to get things done, and that's what's important. I feel that we're going to be losing a lot of considerable amount of institutional knowledge. We have new people that are coming on, and I'm hoping that you stay around long enough that you can continue to support us and keep us in a direction that we are moving positively. I know we're going to be losing a little fireworks in this because I've experienced that as president. But at the same time, fireworks create energy, and we need that. We need that excitement because they said that the parish commission sometimes is boring. I can over the city council. I beg to differ. I've been on the city council, I've been in state government, and been on the parish. I've enjoyed the commission being here and working with you guys. So again, thank you very much for all of your service. Mr. Clerk.
That brings us now to communiques and committee reports, where we start with administration's response to information requests for commissioners.
Madam Administrator.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, commissioners.
Good afternoon.
First, I'd like to recognize Miss Elizabeth Martin is here today with the LSU Ag Center. She's the new parish chair, and she just wanted to sit in. She doesn't want to speak, but she wanted to sit in on your meetings. And so you can see her face. She's replacing Miss Catherine Pace, who retired. And they will be the ones hosting the luncheon on January 9th. So just wanted to let you know she was here.
All right.
Also, I would also like to take this opportunity to thank the outgoing commissioners for your excellent years of service to Caddo Parish. The citizens in your districts as well as Caddo Parish have truly benefited from your commitment and dedication. Also, on behalf of the Caddo Parish employees, we would like to thank you for the support that you've provided to us. I also would like to personally thank you for your support and for challenging me, and each one of you have impacted me in a way that I can't truly express. But we wish you the best in your future endeavors, and we look forward to working with you in your new capacity. Thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Young.
Thank you, Mr. President. In response to a question that we received from a citizen today, I wanted to ask our clerk, Mr. Everson, if you could produce a verbatim transcript of our work session yesterday, the segment, I believe it's an administrator's report, when I asked Administrator Bryant to describe the Highland Center funding confusion, the ARPA requirements, which were described in detail by our finance director, Ms. Barnett. I think if you produce that verbatim transcript and send it to the citizen who had that question, it will answer that question definitively again in writing. Thank you.
I'll be glad to.
Thank you, Mr. President. That's all.
Commissioner Epperson.
To the administration and my fellow commissioners, I know we've had Ms. Donna Frazier, who's over at Shreveport Green, down, and we've been talking about litter for a number of times. Of course, we know we're coming out of a major political era, the October the 14th election, November 18th runoff. There are still political signs of individuals that either lost or won, and there are still signs strewn throughout the parish. We hear so much about why people are leaving, why people don't want to come here. We're getting all of the economic fruition and the job creations out in the Shreveport Business Park, the old General Motors plant. We got the new Resilient Technology Park, 286 acres, the Greenwood Industrial Loop, where AEP SWEPCO is going to be doing a $100 million facility. We want those people that are getting those jobs to come and want to move to a clean Caddo Parish in Shreveport. Political signs, we give business loans, we flip houses, we unclog drains, firewoods. Every week it looked like there's a gun and knife show. Put signs out and forget them, and they're just spread all over. That's litter. And I would like our parish legal to research and see if we can do an ordinance or a policy that we can put into the qualifying packet of all persons in Caddo Parish that qualify for political position, stating a time period for removing signs. Those signs. Still signs up from Sean Wilson, Green. Still signs up Johnson, lying all on the ground. We need to clean that up. That's an issue. So would you please see if we can do that and put something in place to maybe put in the packet of any person that qualifies in Caddo Parish, including gubernatorial candidates, statewide candidates. They have an obligation too. There's still Hunter Lundy signs are still out. All of those signs. So could I get a response on that, please, at some point in time? And I'd like to see us do something immediately, because we do have they've already qualified, but we need to see if that can be something that's standard. Okay. Also, we're talking again about people leaving Shreveport and our young people, and then probably we need to attract seasoned and professional talent to want to come back and move. At the Pines Road, I-20 and Greenwood intersection, we are on the verge now of basically exploding economically. We're going to be opening up a new Starbucks this Monday, January the 8th. There's also Golden Flake Chicken will be breaking ground within that same spot. There's also a contract with a realtor and a developer on 20 acres just adjacent from there. Now, we're talking about things that run people off. Of course, you got crime and those negative issues too, but there is a horrible odor, a sewer gas odor that has been pervasive for years at that intersection. There are 13 hotels that are located west of Klug Pine Road, where Walmart is on the west side, all the way to Monkhouse Drive. There are numerous eating establishments on that Pines Road corridor, industrial loop corridor. how is that a welcoming sight of someone wanting to come here? If they are coming here to eat at Sam's Eatery or Burger King or one of those facilities, stay in the hotel and smell that horrible gas odor, sewer odor. What the issue is, I don't know. But with our Public Works Department, please get with the City of Shreveport Department and see if we can come up with something like that. I had wanted to do a ribbon cutting up at Starbucks next Monday, but I would be embarrassed to go up there and that wind come out the wrong direction. So please see if we can do something about that. And as I stated, I met with some developers out in Fort Worth. I left a day early on my vacation, and they are interested in that 20 acres directly across from where Starbucks and Golden Flakes is going to be. And I hope they don't come on a day when that odor is pervasive. The Grassroots Forum will continue for the new year this Thursday, January the 11th at 8 o'clock a.m. As usual, we have factual and good information provided to anyone that wants to dial in. The dial-in number is area code 720-843-2847. The access code is 551-7232. Thank you very much.
Commissioner Atkins.
Thank you, Mr. President. Two things. Mr. Clerk, is there a way, not right now, but in the future, is there a way to increase the font on these boards? I mean, can anyone see those? Is it my eyes or is it the font?
No, yeah, you are correct. They're pretty hard to read right now. We can work on that. We can.
Thank you. Also, to address Ms. Glover's inquiry regarding the American Rescue Plan issue and solar panels, Haley, you mentioned yesterday what that issue was, but it slipped my memory. Can you remind us? I know there's several, but there was one main issue that we had with ARP and the solar panels.
Yes, sir. The main issue is the ARPA rules require us to follow the mitigation rules of FEMA when it comes to any numeric expense related to mitigation for storms. And you cannot upgrade a facility that's mainly used for religious purposes.
And it's not owned by the parish. Wasn't there something about that?
Well, and the other issue is with federal grant money, the parish would have to track any asset until it was no longer in use, which a disposal period, and we're unable to track assets that would no longer belong to us.
Okay.
And so that's the secondary, but the main reason is we cannot upgrade religious facilities with federal dollars.
Okay.
For that reason.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. President.
Commissioner Gage Watts.
Thank you, Mr. President. This question is for administration. Ms. CEO, I know that when you have to select a replacement for Commissioner Jones, have we begun the process or started taking any applications?
Commission Clerk.
Yes, I'll be happy to answer that. So what we have set, as you may recall from having this in the past, it is a process that you as a body adopt. So you can adopt it, the deadlines as you would like. We have received some inquiries, and I have saved those so that they can be presented at the appropriate time. But we have this on your agenda for your special session agenda for your meeting on Monday. So after the new commissioners are sworn in, because this has to be done by the new group of commissioners, so it would be once the commissioners are sworn in, you all can accept the timeline for when you would like to accept, and we have a suggestion of dates that will keep you in compliance, for when you would want to accept, and the accepting of inquiries for that. So that will be on your Monday agenda.
Okay. And are there any requirements for the appointment?
There are. The person who is appointed interim has to meet the same requirements that somebody would if they were to run for the office.
As a candidacy?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. That's it, Mr. President.
And I will clarify, just because it may be relevant, that the window to actually run for the office has elapsed. So, we do know for certain the candidate pool is closed for who is running for the office. And I just say that to say, y'all certainly are not, whoever you select does not have to be somebody who has qualified. It just has to be somebody who meets the qualifications.
Understood. Thank you.
Commissioner Jackson.
Thank you, Mr. President. In our goodbyes down there, or see you laters down there, I forgot to thank the staff, the department heads, and I saw Travis leave or Kelvin leave, but I want to also thank these department heads. You know, customer service is always impeccable across the parish, and Ms. Bryan and Dr. Wilson, and as he's gone, the department heads are top tier, and I would be remiss if I did not put my comments and my feelings and thoughts about each and every last one of them into the record. If I could give them an extra pay raise, I would, but our parish employees are top tier here, and I would not miss my last meeting without saying that, particularly those that I have to call on all the time, Animal Services, Travis and Kelvin. I feel like I got y'all on like speed dial or speed text, and Patrick and Katina and that entire Parks and Recreation team. That's not to diminish any other department, but I know I lean on them quite often and quite a bit, and they make us look like rock stars out there. I promise you, people think that we are making all this stuff happen, but all we have to do is show up. And Patrick, I really appreciate how Bessie D. Smith Park is starting to look. I don't see him. Okay, but Bessie D. Smith, whatever y'all do, the ribbon cutting or ceremony for that, let me know, because I want to come by because it looks beautiful just passing by. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President.
Commissioner Epperson?
Yes, sir. I forgot. Mr. Wesley, they requested that if you could, on January 11th at 8 o'clock a.m. on our Grassroots Forum teleconference, that you would be one of the guests. If you'd let me know if you can confirm that. And also Ken, is Tim back there? I'm going to give you the initials of this individual. Lives on Jolly Napier. We'll talk later. So I guess nobody's going to do anything about them guys coming in at 3 or 4 in the morning, loading up log trucks, shining headlights and bedroom windows or anything like that, huh? I'll tell you who it is later on. Thank you.
Commissioner Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. President. I guess in my farewell speech, I forgot to mention Todd, for the years that you were the clerk, and the information and the parliamentary procedures and getting to know what to do, what not to do. I also forgot to mention Alan Clark with the MPC. The UDC was, I guess, a test for everybody. And in the very beginning, you know, I was ultimately opposed to it all the way because it was just too restrictive. And once we got a new director in, it started to flow better, and people started to, and by this time people were already pissed off because they were starting to get citations and everything, and it was like, well, we sit here and delayed it for 6 to 8 months before we even voted on it, and nobody came down. And I just want to say thank you for being able to work with everybody to get their inputs in and to make those changes that will be workable for Caddo Parish. Because the original document that was written was not workable for Caddo Parish or any parish in Louisiana. It had to be in some other state for that to work that way. And also, Michelle, thank you for all the hard work. Whenever I asked for something, you jumped right on it and got it done for me. And you know, never was, well, Commissioner, I'm overloaded or nothing like that. It was always yes, and I got it within a few hours at the most. And I really thank you for that. I did mention all the department heads because I'll talk to y'all all the time. And also the sheriff deputies, you know, appreciate the smiles when we come in and the job that y'all do at the door to keep us safe in here. And then even the time when we had the chamber full and people didn't like everybody that was sitting up here in this horseshoe, y'all kept us under control and kept it safe for us to be here. And we didn't make local news or even national news for something happened inside of the chamber, because and sometimes it did get testy, and so we wanted to say thank you about that. And I think I covered everybody. That's all I got, Mr. President.
All right. So it appears that there's no one else, so Mr. Clerk.
Okay, that brings us to President's report.
I'm good for right now.
Okay, we'll move forward to public hearing on zoning ordinances and cases. We have none scheduled for today, so we'll move forward to public hearing on ordinances, where our first public hearing is the only one for today, and that is for ordinance 6402 of 2023. Would you like me to go ahead and just read this, and then you can open it?
If you would.
Okay, it's an ordinance implementing an ad valorem tax exemption for first responders and to otherwise provide with respect thereto. This item is as amended.
Floor is now open for public hearing on this particular item. Anyone that wants to speak for or against can come at this time. I see none. Public hearing is closed.
All right, then we also have no zoning ordinances for final passage, but the only ordinance we have for final passage is the one that you just had your public hearing for. That is 6402 of 2023, an ordinance implementing an ad valorem tax exemption for first responders and otherwise providing with respect thereto.
A motion by Commissioner Jones, seconded by Commissioner Hopkins. Commissioner Jones.
I yield to the sponsor.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Commissioner Jones. This is just in compliance with or in response to the Constitutional Amendment. Next year is a reassessment year, and this gives one as an incentive to retain police officers, first responders, here in Caddo Parish, and also maybe an incentive to recruit those that are having shortages or having issues recruiting. And so this is just one thing to do to help show that our support for law enforcement officials. We took it to committee. We had a discussion with staff in committee and was able to flesh out questions. I do also think that this gives time for the incoming tax assessors team and the transition that they're going through to be able to prepare in enough time for this. So I think this is something good, and hopefully our first responders will be able to see the benefit from this. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Commissioner Jones.
Commissioner Epperson.
I'd just like to go on record that I will be voting no on this particular issue and let you know why. And I hope no one won't think that I'm not for first responders or law enforcement officials. Because while some of you may have been still in your Pampers, you know there used to be a time that certain people could not be firemen, they could not be EMS, they could not be police officers. You all remember that? There were consent decrees and suits that was filed. My reason for this is I don't know, irregardless to the effect that it will on our tax base, whether it's minimal or maximum, I would not support anything that will erode our property taxes at this particular point in time, because we need to grow more residents, get more business here, more things paying property taxes. So that being my reason. So don't nobody go and say I'm not supporting EMS people or law enforcement. What I'd like to see a constitutional amendment on, for anybody that may be listening that's in Baton Rouge or going to Baton Rouge, is a minimum wage increase, something more formidable for our teachers, our educators. Thank you.
Commissioner Johnson.
Thank you. Administration, did y'all come up with a estimated figure of how much this would impact the parish?
Ms. Barnett can provide you the information. It wasn't a substantial amount at the 500 level.
Speak up, Madam Administrator.
I was saying that Ms. Barnett, the finance director, she's can provide you that number. I don't recall at this level, at the 500 level, that it was a substantial amount, but it would be a reduction in the amount of property taxes we collect. because those persons are, most of them are already paying the tax, so it'll be a reduction, but.
So this is just an estimate based on the number of employees for police, fire, and sheriff's deputies only. I did just the high level, first responders based on their employee count, and a $500 increase in the homestead exemption. It would reduce our tax collections by $20,000. It would save the average first responder approximately $14 a year.
What would the house be valued?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know the valuation of the house?
That's with an
$14
average
average.
home, $200,000, and only 75% of the people that I say are first responders actually affecting, because not all of them live in Caddo Parish. So I just kind of had to make some assumptions.
But that's on a $200,000.
And that's the only ones that
That's on a
own property.
$200,000 home. That's just the average price of a home in Caddo. So.
Okay.
That's it.
All right. All right, there's a motion by Commissioner Jones and a second by Commissioner Hopkins. You can vote.
And that motion carries with 11 in support, 1 in opposition. And that brings us now to ordinances for introduction by title. You do have quite a few of these today, and they will start with introducing Ordinance 6404 of 2023. That's an ordinance to amend Volume 2 of the Code of Ordinances of the Parish of Caddo as amended, the Caddo Parish Unified Development Code, amending the provisions for accessory dwelling units with all provisions included herein, and otherwise provide with respect thereto. The next item is introduction of Ordinance 6405 of 2024, an ordinance to amend Volume 2 of the Code of Ordinances of the Parish of Caddo as amended, the Caddo Parish Unified Development Code, adding a new use for overnight truck parking with all provisions included herein and otherwise provide with respect thereto. The next item is the introduction of Ordinance 6406 of 2024, an ordinance to amend Volume 2 of the Code of Ordinances of the Parish of Caddo as amended, the Caddo Parish Unified Development Code, by amending the zoning of property located on the south side of Locust Hill Road, approximately 1,870 feet west of Highway 79, Caddo Parish, Louisiana, from RA Rural Agricultural Zoning District to RA PUD Rural Agricultural Planned Unit Development Zoning District, and otherwise provide with respect thereto. That item is in District 12. The next item is the introduction of Ordinance 6407 of 2024, an ordinance to amend Volume 2 of the Code of Ordinances of the Parish of Caddo as amended, the Caddo Parish Unified Development Code, by amending the zoning of property located on the southwest corner of Old Mansfield Road and Midyet Street in Caddo Parish, Louisiana, from RA Rural Agricultural Zoning District to C3 General Commercial Zoning District, and otherwise providing with respect thereto. That item is in District 11. The next item is the introduction of Ordinance 6408 of 2024. That is an ordinance to amend Volume 2 of the Code of Ordinances of the Parish of Caddo as amended, the Caddo Parish Unified Development Code, by amending the zoning of property located south of East Florno Lucas Road, approximately 840 feet west of Ellerby Road, Caddo Parish, Louisiana, from R17 Single Family Zoning District to C1 Neighborhood Commercial Zoning District, and otherwise provide with respect thereto. That item is in District 10. That brings us now to the introduction of Ordinance 6409 of 2024. That is an ordinance to amend Volume 2 of the Code of Ordinances of the Parish of Caddo as amended, the Caddo Parish Unified Development Code, by amending the zoning of property located on the east side of East Kings Highway and Hanover Drive intersection in Caddo Parish, Louisiana, from RE Residential Estate Zoning District to R15 Single Family Residential Zoning District, and otherwise provide with respect thereto. That item is in District 8. And that now brings us to regular ordinances, where the first traditional ordinance for introduction today is 6410 of 2024, an ordinance amending the 2023 budget to amend the budget of estimated revenues and expenditures for the Head Start Fund, and otherwise provide with respect thereto. The next item is the introduction of Ordinance 6411 of 2024, an ordinance amending the 2023 budget of estimated the budget of estimated revenues and expenditures for the Housing Choice Voucher Program Fund, and otherwise provide with respect thereto. The next item is the introduction of Ordinance 6413 of 2024, an ordinance amending the budget of estimated revenues and expenditures to appropriate funds for a Caddo Community Lighthouse pilot project and otherwise provide with respect thereto. The next item is the introduction of Ordinance 6414 of 2024. That is an ordinance declaring the intent of the parish under Louisiana Revised Statutes 47:2236 to acquire full ownership interest in a parcel of property identified by Caddo Parish Tax Assessor's Geographic Number 181437-036-0005-00 and described as Lot 5 J.B. Pickett Subdivision, Tal 4, Shreveport, and to otherwise provide with respect thereto. That item is in District 3. The next one is the introduction of Ordinance 6415 of 2024, an ordinance declaring the intent of the parish under Louisiana Revised Statutes 47:2236 to acquire full ownership interest in a parcel of property identified by Caddo Parish Tax Assessor's Geographic Number as 1814-3001-154 and described lots as 154, 155, 156, and 1/2 adjacent abandoned alley and Lakeview subdivision and to otherwise provide with respect thereto. That item is in District 2. The next item is the introduction of Ordinance 6416 of 2024, an ordinance declaring the intent of the parish under Louisiana Revised Statutes 47:2236 to acquire full ownership interest in a parcel of property identified by Caddo Parish Tax Assessor's Geographic Number 2016-2501 and then 14, and describe as AC Lot 3 of Mooringsport, less that part of north and west of KCS and G Railroad right-of-way, and that part of the track lying south and east of right-of-way described as beginning 52 feet east of northwest corner of the SD Lot 3, thence easterly along the north line of SD Lot 42, then southerly at right angle of 91 feet, thence westerly at the right angle of 42 feet, thence northerly at right angle 91 feet to the point of beginning, and to otherwise provide with respect thereto. That final item is in District 1. Now, those are the items we had for introduction today, and our next item on the agenda is to adopt the work session minutes.
Okay, a motion by Commissioner Johnson, second by Commissioner Gage Watts. Commissioner Johnson.
No.
We can vote.
And that motion carries with 12 in support, none in opposition. That brings us to resolutions today, where you do have a number of resolutions to consider for, to be exact. The first item is resolution number 1 of 2024, a resolution to designate and change the polling places for precincts 3-3, 3-7, and 9-13, and otherwise provide with respect thereto.
I'd like to make a motion to englobo and adopt resolution number 1, resolution number 2, resolution number 3, resolution number 4, 2024.
Could we pull out 4, please?
Okay. Resolutions 1, 2, and 3 of 2024.
Thank you.
To englobo and adopt those.
Okay, there's a motion. You're on the board again? Like it just dropped off. Motion by Commissioner Gage Watts, second by Commissioner Young. Commissioner Gage Watts?
Yes, I just had a question on the resolution to adopt the polling places for the precinct changes, and to ask where are we on our signs for the precincts at the polling locations?
Yes, ma'am. I have to give a facilities. We did put that in to have those for the March election. The March 23rd election is what we're waiting on with the new precinct numbers, and also advertising the new precinct numbers, as well as locating signs at those polling places.
Are we going to also have a campaign to let people know that they're not being moved from their polling locations unless there's an address change?
Yes,
so
ma'am.
we can have something maybe from each commissioner in their district to explain 7.1 is still Oak Park or Morning Star, whichever one it is, so that we can make sure that we're getting the proper word out to the community.
Yes, ma'am. That's what I meant by advertising a new number. So yes, we can do that.
Okay, thank you. That's it, Mr. President.
Just as a point of information, we do have a helpful chart we can share. We've shared it before, but I realize there's a lot of information in this process. But there is a helpful chart that citizens may find an easy way to explain the difference of the changing precincts. It does a real good job of saying, if it was this, now it's this.
got it. I understand, and I know that all of us probably are capable of reading those charts and know exactly how to go to those links. But we really need to make sure that we communicate to the community that this is not polling change. This is actually, you're still going to your same polling location. You're not moving out of your precincts. The numbers just have changed. So I think it would be advantageous is coming from each commissioner to explain exactly what's going on with those numbers. Thank you.
Commissioner Jackson.
Yes, I was going to get on that same thing that I stated on yesterday, whatever day we came down. Was that yesterday? Wow, it's been a long 24 hours. I went to Baton Rouge this morning. I'm sorry, but I think that because the parish is responsible for making the changes, I know the clerk of court has the duty as the chief election officer. I think just an idea, a suggestion that, you know, the parish team up with the clerk of court to just do a tour, church groups, civic groups, you name it, whether it's pamphlets to drop off, because this can create a lot of, as we saw with this past election, this can create a lot of confusion. I don't know, they start talking every time I start talking. And they don't whisper either. Y'all good? Just if we could get a good push at the grassroots level to make sure that folks know the difference and the changes that are going to be made so that we can kind of tamp down, not to say that everything is going to always go perfect, but education is going to be key to successful execution of these changes. And I think having that presidential, will these be in place for the presidential primary?
Yes.
Okay.
The March election.
Okay, so I think maybe having that presidential primary is a good practice run. I think the problem that you got is you're going to have that sheriff's race on there, so that's going to push people out. But there's not one. I thought there was one in January or something. It's not an early one before the March. Okay. Whatever we can do to educate folks on these changes will be key. I can promise you. I think some cards went out 2 weeks ago, and I got a call from someone in Stony Hill saying, "Why are y'all changing my precinct again?" And after I called Mike, we realized that it was the notification of these cards that are talking about the numerical change, not the location change. So just a suggestion to be proactive and go into the church groups, civic groups, neighborhood associations, Rotary, whoever can help us put the word out about these changes. Thank you, Mr. President. I know Crystal is listening somewhere.
Commissioner Johnson.
Yeah, I just want to also say that want to make sure that our registrar of voters, that on their website it lists all the polling locations, and that also needs to be changed as well. Even with all the messages that we send out, if somebody goes to their website and it has the old numbers, I mean, it's just going to confuse people even more. So that website has to be updated to match what we have in place. And I was going to say, too, that new cards have gone out, but I know a lot of times people don't read over them and look at them. They just get them and say, you know, why did I get this? What's going on now? But, yeah, the new numbers are on the new cards that they mailed out recently. That's all I have.
Okay, with that in mind, we can vote.
And that motion carries with 12 in support. That brings us now to consideration of resolution number 4 of 2024. That is a resolution approving the amended 2023 and proposed 2024 budgets of the North Louisiana Criminalistics Laboratory Commission and to otherwise provide with respect thereto.
Okay, a motion by Commissioner Jones, second by Commissioner Gage Watts. Commissioner Jones?
I yield to you, Mr. President.
Commissioner Atkins.
Thank you, Mr. President. Is there anyone here representing the crime lab? So do we know why they have a budget that's a proposed budget for 2024 that's $1.25 million in deficit?
As you know, they've been struggling with revenues, Commissioner Atkins. But if you notice, if you look at what they adopted for 2023, they originally adopted a budget that showed that they would only have $36,000 left.
I saw that.
And so in 2023, they were actually able to bring in enough funds to carry over to 2024. And that's what they're doing. They're drawing down those monies that they received in 2023. That does not mean they have eliminated the problem. At some point, they only have $900,000 left. You cannot adopt a budget in a deficit. So if they went to a negative in the fund balance, they can't even adopt a budget at that number. So they would have to either reduce expenses or have a mechanism for some additional revenue.
Okay. And what I saw 1.5 came from the emergency relief fund. Is that, whose emergency relief fund is that? Is that a state?
The state.
The state. Okay. All right. Well, it seems like if I had a budget that was $250,000 in deficit, I probably want to at least explain it. So I'm a little unfulfilled by that.
Yeah, and I understand, and considering Caddo Parish's role in this entity, would probably look to you all for some additional assistance. So we will communicate with them so that they can stay in communication with us, especially considering that more than likely they'll ask us for additional support.
Thank you. Thanks, Mr. President.
Just a point of information, Madam Administrator. There were some recommendations that we made back for them to increase their revenue. Do you know if they've been implemented?
Yes, sir. If we put in our budget to provide additional revenues, and what we agreed to provide, we will provide. But now other entities, they had a plan that they wanted all entities to participate in the crime lab to provide additional funds.
So they pursued that because it seemed like there was only certain ones participating, and everybody wasn't participating.
Well, I'll speak with them and get an update on where they are on obtaining additional funding from all the entities that participate in this program.
Okay. All right, Commissioner Chavez.
President, I was just wondering, it's got your name as the author. Is that correct, or should that be administration?
Oh, they bounce my name around in a lot of places, but it is in my district.
Okay. That's all. I didn't know
I'm
if
good.
we
I can
didn't
handle
change
it.
that. Thanks, President.
So this is your budget, Mr.
I'm
President?
generous. No, it's not my budget. It's their budget. It's just in my
You're
name.
putting the deficit responsibility on President Burrell.
Well, I can always get you to write a check, John. Commissioner Jackson.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. President. I think that you are also aware that some of this issue is some of these structural deficits that the crime lab have are state sort of created, and I know Senator-elect Thomas Presley is working through some issues. What affects the state just authorized $100 million to build, I think, additional 2 new crime labs across the state. And so if folks are not coming here, that could pull away. And so I think I heard Administrator Bryant talking about y'all's legislative priorities. I think one of the highest priorities on that list should be trying to make sure that Henry, cover the deficits doesn't turn into a shall cover the deficit. So just FYI on that. Thank you, Mr. President.
Okay. Commissioner Epperson.
I'd like to make a substitute motion that we defer this to the next full commission work session with our new commissioners, as well as have an opportunity to get some individuals from the crime lab to be present to answer some questions.
Second.
Okay, is the motion and second of the substitute motion to move this to the next meeting under the new new commissioners who are coming in. Commissioner Johnson?
Yeah, I'm just going to point out a few things from what I see on the budget, that salaries was about 47%. And I guess if they in that tight of a bind, then, salary shouldn't be at that high of a level of a percentage. The other thing that we found out with this too is that some of the parishes that utilize the center don't pay into it. And then I also feel too that the sheriff departments should be paying some money into it as well. And I know that in Caddo, sheriff departments don't pay nothing into it. And that's income that could go into that, because one thing that law enforcement should be working with the courts and the DA is to get all these criminals off the street and in their respectable place. So there's a lot of different needs to be talked about, and I'm glad Commissioner Epperson made that motion because it's going to be up to the next group to actually follow through with this. If they fall short, it falls on the other governing bodies that represent y'all. So that's with y'all. Because when we had the state conference here, we mentioned that would be the opportune moment to get all of the parishes together to say, okay, this is what you all owe on a population basis or use basis in order to get their revenue up. And I don't know if they did that while we had the state conference here. So that was the prime opportunity to get that done. And that's what they ought to be trying to work on every time they have the Police Jury Association meeting, is to make sure that they get those parishes into a room to make them commit for that money that they need to cough up to utilize the Northwest, the North Louisiana Crime Lab. Because I think it's, what, 16 parishes or 18 parishes? Or more than that?
So it's maybe a little more than that.
29.
Okay, 20-some parishes.
29.
So, I mean, 29 parishes, and they look at Caddo to pay most of it is outrageous, even though we utilize it probably more than anybody else, but still, if they send people there, then they also need to be also paying money to use it as a retainer. That's all I have.
Okay. Going back to something that Commissioner Jackson had mentioned earlier, that the state involvement in this may have created some issues, some budget issues. Hopefully the new governor, who was our former top law enforcement officer, would also look into this. But my concern is the statement that was made about adding additional crime labs. If we're not getting any, and we're supposed to be responsible for 29 parishes, then you're adding additional crime lab, how is that going to split the budget up? And we cannot manage the one here. The other issues I remember in talking with them was the fact that we had additional space at this crime lab that they have no control over. I think it's either part of LSU. Chavez, you remember when we had the
I remember that.
when we had the walkthrough? They mentioned that there was a lot of space there that they had no control over, and they couldn't lease it out. They couldn't do anything. So that may be a money-making opportunity that they don't have access to. These are some of the questions, Madam Administrator, we need to ask them when they come. Okay, with that in mind, you have a motion on the floor to postpone. We can vote.
And that item passes with 12 in support, none in opposition, and that item will be postponed to your January 18th meeting. We have no old business to address at this time, and under new business, we do have a couple of items. The first being to confirm the appointment to the North Caddo Medical Center Board. This would be to appoint Tom Tebe to fill the unexpired term of Patricia White, who's resigned from the board.
Motion by Commissioner Gage-Watt, seconded by Commissioner Jones. Commissioner Gage-Watt.
I yield to Commissioner Ty Hopkins.
This is just a resignation from Ms. White and an appointment from Mr. Tebe to fill the Halston, Ida area for the board, the hospital board. It's gone through their board to. They usually take a group of people and go through them, and then they present a name. And this is the name that Mr. Tebe will be a good candidate. So that's it.
Okay. Commissioner Gage-Watts.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to move to the global items 21 and 22.
21 and 22?
Yes.
Okay.
20 point.
All right. We can vote?
And that motion carries with 12 in support, none in opposition. That brings us to communiques and committee reports.
Excuse me. If you could, get on the board. Commissioner Young.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just wanted to let all my colleagues know, on January 1st, I wrote an email to our clerk. It got buried in his holiday email, so he hasn't distributed it yet. But I sent it to him because I don't have the emails for the new commissioners yet, and it's to go to all the current commissioners. Just to let you know that I'm offering to serve as president of this commission next year. I think you've all seen me show up regularly and participate calmly and do my best to be helpful and efficient. And I hope that you'll consider supporting me, and I promise to continue those qualities if you should choose me to serve in that role. And I look forward to working with all of you who are still going to be here, and also the ones who are not yet in the room but will be sworn in on Monday. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President.
Okay. All right. Last but not least, again, I want to thank the commissioners for those, various commissioners for those thoughtful gifts during the holidays. They really came in handy. We looked pretty good out there at the Independence Stadium because we all showed up in our outfit. Thanks, Commissioner Atkins. And also, I know from the standpoint, I need to change out my Yeti. I got a Yeti, and all that delicious candy that I got added some pounds on. Commissioner Lazarus and Commissioner Blake and others. And hopefully you got a little something in front of you. You can't eat it and you can't wear it. So hopefully you can use it. So again, thank you so much, and thank you for a good year, and Happy New Year's to everybody again. With that,
Move to adjourn.
Oh, is there cake in there we're supposed to?
There is cake in the back.
Cake in the back.
they make you all eat cake.